Hello, fellow weirdos. I'm Andy Negative, and today we're looking at the best free punk guitar tone. Alright, weirdos, before we jump in, please take a second to subscribe to the channel for all kinds of guitar and music related stuff. Before we do anything, because I know you guys are going to say it, I'm well aware that the best punk guitar tone is to just get the cheapest guitar you can get and the cheapest amp you can get and a distortion pedal and turn it all up to all the way up and crack the knobs off and it just sounds like shit, and that's punk. I get it. I know, we all get it. But this is free. This costs you no monies at all. So, like, why would you not do this, right? That's all I'm saying. And also, before anybody says anything, I get it. Pop, punk. It's all the same. It's all part of the subgenre. So just let it go. Just go with it. We're gonna get a cool guitar tone out of it, and it's gonna be awesome. You're gonna be stoked because you'll be able to make guitar noises in your computer. Which that's the whole point. That's it. That's what we got. All right. All applicable links are down below. The only thing you're going to need for this is two plugins that are free off the internet. We're going to be using Amplitube 4, and we're going to be using the TSE 808 from TSE Audio. Let's jump into the DAW, and we'll see what we're working with, all right? We'll get it. We'll go. Here's the tools you'll need. All right, so here we are in PreSonus Studio 1. That's the DAW that I use. You can use any DAW, though. It doesn't really matter. This works in all of them. So basically, you're going to go and you're going to download Amplitube 4. Amplitube 4 is effectively a shell program that allows you to buy and download their amp simulators, but it comes with a base simulator when you get it, and it's modeled after a like a British tube amp, which is I guess like a JCM 800 or a JCM 2000 or something. So I basically modeled this after an amp that I actually have, which is the JCM 800, and it's really straightforward. You basically open it up, and here it is. You're looking right at it, right there. And now these are the settings that I use. Some things with guitar is like, first of all, you don't really want to use all the gain in the world, but also at the same time with modeled amps, I found that pushing the gain is a good thing, at least in this amp. So this is kind of the sound that you get, right? It's pretty cool. Sounds pretty good. The thing about guitar that you also want to keep in mind is just because it sounds good by itself doesn't mean that it's going to sound good in a mix. And there's a tendency to want to like crank up the low end and crank up the high end, but those things sound good by themselves, especially coming out of like a practice amp or small speakers. But when you put it into the context of a mix, having it fit and take up its sonic space is really what's most important. As you can see, going through it one by one, we've got our gain. It's pinned all the way at 10. Right. Well, that's punk rock, right? Our bass is just a little past noon, because you don't need a ton of bass because you're just filling up space in the mix anyway. I like to push the mids a lot. I really like the sound of mid in a guitar because a guitar is a mid-range instrument anyway, so you may as well take advantage of like what it naturally does. Then you've got the treble at just above 8. Around 8 to give it some high-end clarity. I got the presence at about noon. That just it's a low pass filter, so it just tightens up some of the low end. And then I've got the volume cranked all the way up. And then it's basically British Tube Lead 1, and then the 50-watt EL34. And that's it. That's the sound that you get. And then that's running into, very simply, just whatever the 4x12 vintage closed cab is, with 57 and the 421 dynamics, which the dynamic mics are all free, and they're just there. I like the sound of the multiple dynamic mics. That's just like what you get with it. A couple dynamic mics. I think there's a condenser too, but I A/B'd back and forth a bunch, and this was the best result that I got with what was available to me. Now I have some stomps in here. The Overscream isn't free. You have to purchase it. I got it for free with when I got something else. I got like a package thing. So the only thing that isn't in Amplitube 4 is a clean boost. That's what they call it. But you can go and you can download this TS808 from TSE Audio, which is free on their website. You can go get it. They got a couple cool free plugins. This Tube Screamer mock-up that they have. They've got a bass sans amp, and they've got a rat pedal distortion, and you can get those for free. So basically just go grab that, and this is the settings. I have the drive completely turned off. I have the volume pushed all the way up to boost the output signal into the amp, and then I have the tone dialed up to about 1 o'clock, which that's, again, it's the same. It's just cleaning up some of the low end a little bit, filtering it out to clean it up. And this is basically the sounds that you get. Now I'm using a Epiphone standard. That's what I track with. It's got a couple different pickups in it. Not everyone's going to have that option available to them, but something that I really like to do when I'm tracking guitars is try to use 2 different guitar tones. When I'm tracking with this specific guitar, it's got a Dirty Fingers humbucker in it, which is just like a high gain humbucker, and it's also got a P90, a Seymour Duncan, I think it's the Hot Rails or a Hot Cat or a Fat Cat or something like that, but it's basically a P90 that I use, and the difference between those guitar tones is pretty obvious, right? So this is your humbucker, and here's the P90. So as you can see, those are very, very different guitar tones, but running through the same amp. One's a little cleaner and a little more jangly, and you get a little bit more clarity between the notes as opposed to the other one, which is more just tight and chuggy. But I like to use those and track the same guitar and spread them hard left and right, and using a different guitar tone creates a greater sense of width in your mixes, or at least that's the experience that I've had. So if you have the option to use even just different pickups or switching up your guitar amps, then that is totally something that you can do. Now, you could set up a second tone, but this is just kind of my basic go-to guitar tone that I'll use, and this kind of appears in everything. Now, I've started using the Persona Studio One guitar amp simulator, and it's got a whole bunch of different options, but it's not free. You have to actually buy Studio One, so we're just going to focus on this one. But yeah, that's the basics of it. So you get a kind of an idea of what the guitars sound by themselves, a couple different pickups that I'm using, and let's just get to the real deal. You guys want to hear what it sounds like when it's playing with some drums and some bass and stuff like that, and you got a bunch of them, and this should give you an idea of the kind of that width, maybe the sounds that you can get. I have the guitar on the left is the humbucker, the guitar on the right is the P90, and the guitar down the center is a combination of both, switching back and forth depending on the part that I'm playing. So here we go. Check it out. This is what it sounds like. there you go. That's pretty much it. That's the guitar tone. Now, what I will do is I take the bass and I'm running it through that SansAmp plugin that I was telling you about, which you can get free from the TSE Audio website. It looks like that. It's pretty cool. It's just like a SansAmp pedal. Sounds good. Drive, high, low, easy. And then I will frequently just compress the hell out of the bass. But again, this is just a stock compressor. There's nothing here that you can't get with your DAW and a couple downloads off the internet. And that's basically it. I should also say that I'm using Superior 3 drums, the pop punk expansion or whatever. So there's something to be said about having really good drum samples is going to make a big difference in the long run anyway. So yes, I did pay for those. That's not free, but we're just here for the guitar. That's pretty much the free punk rock guitar tone that I've been using for years, and you can use it too. Go nuts. Plug it in, try it out, and let me know what you think of this free guitar tone, I guess, or whatever, man. All right, and that's it. That's the like best free punk guitar tone that I can come up with anyway. You may disagree with me, but who knows? If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please obliterate that like button. What's the best guitar amp that you've used to get a punk guitar tone? Let me know down in the comments below. I absolutely adore, I have a Fender Blues Junior that I love to use live, but in terms of recording at home, it's so easy. I don't need any mics, I don't need to plug anything in. It's there and it's ready to go. So there you go. I hope that you are able to get some value out of this. And let me know if you use this guitar setup or what guitar setup you use. I'd love to hear it. If you would like to support my creative endeavors further, please consider joining my my weirdo cult over on Patreon. My patrons get early access to all my videos, exclusive music that you can't get anywhere else, and they all get a producer credit at the ends of my video, which you can see immediately following this. I'm Andy Negev, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye!